Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us and taking the time. Obviously, most important, especially in the middle of a busy Thursday afternoon. So, the goal here with every weekly webinar that we host is that you walk away with nuggets, right? So you can make more sales and help more families. That's the bottom line. So what I wanted to do real quick is just take a step back and give you the 100-foot overview on today's presentation, our relationship with the carrier, and where they fit the niche, right? So I think that's number one. If you can take out a pen and paper, I want you to jot down notes as we go, especially when we have our presenter speaking. And I think this is important too. At the end, we're going to give away, we have the new Amazon Dot with built-in Alexa. We're going to give whoever answers the question first and correctly, we're going to give that away, as well as the new distribution solution prospecting book and the Ask Me About free scholarship pin. Okay, so we're giving away all three items, about a $200 value on us. You just got to be on till the end and make sure you're paying attention and jotting down notes, and use that question box, please. We want to hear from you, good, bad, and different, right? We create these weekly on behalf of our agents. So if you like what you're about to see, then it's a win. If you don't, I want to hear from you because we need to make it better next week. That's the bottom line. So please feel free to jump in. What we're going to do as well is when our feature presentation is over, Andrew's going to ask everyone to type in questions, and we'll probably have time for a few questions, but I want you to shoot away. If we don't get back to you, okay, in real time, then we will answer every single one of you by the time we are done this afternoon. Okay, we're going to run for an hour. We'll be done right before 4 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so the presentation today and where this carrier fits, what the sweet spot is, right? So if you're thinking about number one, ROP term, okay, you want to think Assurity Life, okay? And they made some updates to technology, underwriting, non-med programs, e-apps. Everything has gotten better, faster, more competitive, which is why we wanted to feature Assurity on today's presentation. Okay, so they are making great moves in the industry, which is perfectly in line with Levinson. So it's a win-win-win. ROP term, hands down, bar none, the number one product in the space today. Okay, and ROP term, right, is free life insurance. Okay, so I think that is a huge hook if you're marketing on social media. So definitely think ROP term, Assurity, and how you can get the message out, because it's a slam dunk sale, especially for younger, healthier millennials and even middle-aged prospects. It's a great fit. Blue collar DI, this is definitely a go-to. Critical illness, we have a new accident product coming out. I don't want to share or steal any of Assurity's thunder, so we'll let them speak further about the new products and technology. They also have some great sales strategies. But I think the name of the game here is ROP term, and then, of course, the supplemental products with DI/CI accident. So they're going to speak more on that. But again, if you're in the health space, this is perfect for you. If you're in the life space, if you're out there selling final expense, mortgage protection, or even if you're an estate planning attorney, CFP, it doesn't make a difference, okay? Everyone has the need for living benefit type products, okay? That's really what this is about. And and this is a big one. I want to transition to this side for a second. And it doesn't really matter if you're focused on the $20 million IUL case, right, or the $12 a month critical illness case. We're all out there doing the same thing, okay? I have my agent hat on for a second. And when you're out in the space and you're thinking about your big why, okay, your big why has to be so important to you, right, to make sure that you keep your foot on the gas and you're consistent and persistent with your messages and your marketing. And you should be marketing, by the way, not only in South Florida and Coral Springs and this zip code, you should be marketing in a few non-resident states or even the entire country, okay? Why not, right? That's the way I look at it. But number one, find your why, okay? Why are you doing this day in and day out? Why are you helping all these families? Why is your message so important? Why does all your friends and family and network need to listen to you, need to listen to your story, right? What is your why? So I think that's a big, big deal, and you should write down, what is my why, right? Because you have to figure this out. It's not easy to sit here and pound the phones and go on appointments and host webinars and seminars, right? Every day, day in, day out for 15, 32, 57 years, which we have some agents that are literally in their 80s and 90s and still doing a great job today. But the why is what's going to drive you. What's going to push you. Okay. And I wanted to share this quick personal story. And I think this will help a lot of you that maybe don't have your exact reason why. Okay. Yes, you're trying to make money. This is a career path that you chose. Great, great, great. But at the end of the day, what's the why? Okay. And number one, it should be about helping and protecting these families. Okay, and then everything else kind of comes, second and third. Obviously, your commissions is probably a close number two. Okay, but the number one reason should be helping, protecting these families. And, if you say to yourself, well, Bill, yes, I want to help these families, but, I've been doing this for 4 years and I never had any real life experience. So I don't know how to convey my message or my marketing brand or pitch. Okay, so you always say to yourself, I heard about this horrible accident or situation, but, it's never affected me or it's never affected my family or friends. Okay. And if you're saying that to yourself, I hate to break the news, but it's going to happen to you sooner or later. Okay. I promise you, it's going to happen to all of us, right? As we get older, we're going to be hit with friends, family members dying or getting sick, right? Or getting real sick, maybe even terminally ill or have a critical illness, heart attack, stroke, cancer. It's going to happen, matter of time. So, here's a perfect example. Obviously I'm in the business over 22 years. My father started the organization in 1972. So we know life insurance like the back of our hand. And it's our job to train and service as many agents as possible with the right products, right? Commissions, right? And have the best tools so you can share your message. So obviously we know the industry, okay? And I understood my reason why, and I know why we're doing this at the end of the day, right? We have to make sure our agents have everything they need to go out and be dangerous and make sales. And again, number one, help these families. But here's what really hit home, and I want to just share this for a second. If you think, critical illness, it's just for health agents, I'm not going to make 10 grand on one case if I sell a product. No, but think about this. Again, your why, helping families. Okay, here I am, right? Been in the business forever, more than half my life. July 4th, okay? That just passed, by the way. Okay, so we're talking about, 3 weeks ago? 3.5 weeks ago? So I'm sitting there on a Sunday, okay? Finally, with this COVID stuff, everything going on, right? We haven't taken a lot of family vacations, right? Like most people that are on this call, we're working remote, let's say. Okay, we're fortunate enough to be in the office, but a lot of you are working remote. We haven't taken vacations, had family time, blah, blah, blah. Okay, finally we get away, July 4th weekend, me and my entire family, okay? So we go to this beautiful resort on the beach, and July 4th comes, so it's Sunday now, and all I wanted to do was have quality time with the family, okay? Like most of us, like all of us. So finally, moment comes, beautiful day out, right? We saw fireworks the night before and the night of, and we're sitting there by the pool. We have a cabana, the beach, music, drinks, food, everything's wonderful, okay? It's about 3 o'clock. And we're sitting there in this cabana. There's 2 couches facing each other, and everybody's happy, laughing, telling stories, the whole nine, right? Taking pictures, whatever. And all of a sudden, my phone's right next to me, 24/7, okay? But my phone's next to me, and I see it light up, and I pick up the phone. I missed the call, so I check the voicemail. And I'm listening to the voicemail, and it's my cousin, right? Leaving me a voicemail. And he says to me, Bill, you won't believe this, but my father, okay, who, by the way, is my uncle, okay, my mom's brother, okay. So he says, my father was just hit by a car. This is July 4th. It happened Sunday morning. I get the call 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So he's on the voicemail. He says, Bill, my father was hit by a car. He was riding his bicycle to go play pickleball, okay, because he likes to do his cardio and stay in shape, 70 years old, but he's in great shape. So he says he was riding his bicycle to go play pickleball at 7 a.m., July 4th, okay, on Sunday. And a car veered off the road in Delray Beach, Florida, slammed into him while he was riding the bicycle, okay, obviously knocked him off the bike. The man is laying in the middle of the road, like for dead. And the person that hit him takes off. It was a hit and run, okay? So he's telling me the story, and he says, my dad is now in the hospital, okay, in critical care, in intensive care, and we don't know if he's going to make it or not, and hangs up the phone. And my whole face turned like white. And now I'm thinking, oh my gosh, obviously I have to tell my mom, my dad, what just happened. But I'm like, here we are, finally away, July 4th weekend, family time. Everything is wonderful, right? The sun is shining, waves are crashing in the background, and I get this message. And I'm like, I didn't know what to do, right? And you can't be selfish. You can't say, oh, I'm going to wait till, we get back from vacation on Monday. No. So I'm debating with myself for a few minutes, and my mom looks over at me and she says, Bill, what's wrong? And I said, I don't know. She goes, I can tell in your face something happened. Tell me what happened. So I said, you won't believe this. I said, Barry, okay, who's her brother, my uncle, was hit by a car. And she said, Bill, I know, I got the same message. And she goes, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't know I didn't know I was in the same predicament as you. And obviously the rest of the trip was, totally different outcome, but it's okay. And long story short, they put him in a medically induced coma, okay, breathing tube, ventilator, the whole nine. And it was a horrible, horrible situation. And the first thing, you think about is, yes, is he going to be okay? And number two is his family protected? Do they have insurance in place, right? Are they going to be okay? First, you think about the person, then you think about their family, right? It's common, right? That's the way you should be thinking. So anyway, fortunately, yes, he has his insurance in place and everything was fine. And, you fast forward to today, okay, and they took out the breathing tube and he's starting to breathe on his own and he's doing a little better, okay, and they think that he's going to be in a rehab and that he won't recover 100%, but he's going to live and he's going to be okay, or better, I should say. Okay, thank God. That's why by the way, if it didn't wind up in a good place, I probably wouldn't be sharing the story. So he's doing much better, okay, literally by the day. So thank God for that. But I think the main point that I want to drive home here is this, right, should tug on your heartstrings. And I'm sure you've had friends or family members go through something similar. This needs to be your why, whatever you went through. If you didn't, use a story like this. This is what you need to convey to these prospects. It's not just about making a commission or renewal and, hey, am I selling the best product that pays the most? You have to help these families. It's your job, right, to share these personal stories that are real, by the way. You're not making these up. Right? So the client says, oh my gosh, I need this. So when you get the call 17 and a half years later, right, you did the best thing for that client and they're going to be okay. God forbid a parent or sibling passes on, right? Because you sold them the correct products and coverage. So anyway, moral of the story, yes, this hits home. You need to know what your why is, okay? Because it will happen to you and your clients. Unfortunately, it's going to happen. So you need to know what products to discuss and convey the message properly and protect these families. That's your job at the end of the day, and that should be your why, okay? So jot these things down, whatever you want to use. I'm sure you have your own story, great, but don't forget this. It's so important. I wanted to share my own personal story. I didn't want to rant, but I think it's so important. And today we happen to be talking about living benefit products, right? Life insurance, right? Which thank God he has, right? So obviously his family would be okay, God forbid, of a death, right? So anyway, we all need to think like this. Let's jump right in. Okay, let's shift gears here. I don't want to leave everyone on a down. I also spoke about this yesterday at our live Maggiano's meeting, and I thought that the rest of our agents throughout the country would also benefit from hearing a story like this. Okay, so real quick, what I want to talk about is some new carriers, products, technology, and incentives, right? The word we all love. So real quick, Bestow is our InsureMeNowDirect term product up to $1.5 million, instant decision, right? Your first app, you get a $50 gift card on top of the top commissions. We have an annuity contest going on right now. You write a SILAC annuity, $704 bonus for July 4th. That's running now. SureBridge, what we're doing here is you write your first 2 apps, you get $100 cash. And then on the bottom, our Levinson Expo is back 2022, April 8th. And you better be there, okay? And you better RSVP now. And the contest period literally started yesterday. So, and what that means is, yes, it's free for everyone, but starting at just $20,000 a premium, qualify for a room, and then going up from there, we do free round trip airfare. We do 1 room in even a possible 2 nights at our beachfront location in South Florida. It's going to be a day you do not forget, I promise you. Plus, we haven't had this now because of COVID in a couple of years, so I hope to see all of you there. Again, the contest just started literally yesterday, so start qualifying with your premium now. Let's go over to the middle section. So we have a new term product on InsureMeNowDirect, Haven Term 2.0. So that fills another niche, especially for face amounts over the 1.5 million. Nationwide, new carrier, Columbus Life, new carrier, Boston Mutual, new carrier for the guaranteed issue stuff up to 100 grand. Royal Neighbors, new final expense. Liberty Bankers on the life and annuity side just upgraded to a A-. So that's great news from a B++. F&G just rolled out their new instant decision IUL product, which we obviously have access to. And then Foresters has a new non-med term for impaired risk clients. So that's a great, great product as well. Of course, we have direct contracts with all these companies. So if you want to get set up, great. If you already have a contract, transfer over to us, and we match or beat your commission and give you cash or leads for contracting you choose. On the right side, our quoting engine on our website, iSolve. This is really cool. So for permanent quotes, IUL, UL, this is amazing. So on our website, right, you go run your quotes, which I'm sure you've done by now. And what you can do with the new iSolve enhancement is when you input, let's say, the client information for an IUL quote, the system will take all of the information you just put in and populate it into the e-app or drop ticket. So you just fill out what's ever left online, hit submit, you are done. Okay, soon we're going to have all permanent products, but right now we have a handful. We just rolled this out. It's amazing. And then just below that, 2 new Mary Read prospecting books from the distribution solution concept. And if you haven't heard the Mary Read podcast or webinar, you need to check that out. Basically, it's a tax saving strategy. It's also great for retirement planning. And she uses the LSW product and the Lafayette Life product. And she will literally, if you have the client, right? Everyone has a guy or girl, right? If you have the right person, she'll jump on the phone and make the sale for you. Okay, she'll do all of the heavy lifting. You have to find the client, but she'll do everything else. So we have these great books that agents give out, and it helps with prospecting and setting up appointments. So if you're interested, let us know. 2 new books just rolled out. Okay, InsureMeNowDirect. This is our Amazon for life insurance. Amazing, right? Finally, we had one product that was a decreasing term for 7 years. Okay, why? Because technology with carriers, especially in underwriting and reinsurance, wasn't up to speed, bottom line. Well, with COVID and this pandemic, Okay, I hate to say anything good about it, but technology has improved. In fact, we've seen better enhancements with tech in the last year and a half than we've seen in 20 years. So that is a game changer. I mean, that's everybody on this call, 87 years old or 17, you need to have your website up. This is free, okay? And there's some clients that they don't want to meet you at a Starbucks at 7 a.m., okay? So tell them, hey, go to BillLevinson.com, run a quote, let me know what you think. If they like the quote, they hit apply, approved instantly, done. That's it. You wake up with a new commission. Well, the great news is Assurity is the next company to be on the platform. We're going to have at least 3 to 4 products. Programming has begun, and we are so excited because now, right, think about this, 5 carriers, over 20 products, okay? So this is a game changer. In the past, your client had to pay for an overpriced product just to have this convenience. Now, especially with Assurity coming to the game, this is a game changer. You need to be set up, and we're going to have further information about Assurity and the new products being added in the next, the first product will come about 6 to 8 weeks, and then the rest of the products should be by the end of the year. So we're very excited about this. And again, get set up now with Assurity and Levinson, and then you'll be obviously first to know, first to be set up on the platform. Okay, let's move forward here real quick. Levinson Expo is what I just spoke about, April 8th, 2022. We are back at our beachfront location. I hope to see every one of you there. There's a quick few easy ways to register, of course, on the Levinson mobile app, which you better have downloaded on your phone, or on our site, you'll see Expo, register. And then again, starting yesterday, you can qualify for free room, free airfare with your applications and premium, okay? Can't wait to see you. There should be over 300 agents, over 10 of our top carriers, 2 keynote speeches that are going to be amazing. I promise you that. And we're so happy just to be back. Okay, the next slide is qualification. So this is what I just spoke about, starting at just $20,000. We give you a free room, and of course you can qualify for free round-trip airfare, and it's basically a nice little weekend getaway, and it could be free if you're writing the premium. Let's go to the next slide here. I know I'm running a little bit behind, and I apologize. Okay, so real quick, Surety was one of our first carriers to approve the scholarship program, and here's what's so awesome. As of last week, 432 colleges now in Sage basically sell a product. Your client now has a 1-year scholarship. They can even self-enroll on your InsureMeNowDirect site. It takes 5 minutes. No commission reduction, no increased premium to the client. Okay, you should be marketing this because it's a differentiator. No one else has this unless they're a Levinson agent. Okay, top left, term ROP. You can see Assurity is first. Blue collar DI, Assurity first. CI, Assurity first. AD&D, Assurity first. All Sage approved. Okay, and then of course we have the other carriers as well, which are all great, by the way, but I think after you hear about Assurity's new updates, you're going to be very excited, and you'll also put them in the first column. Okay, let's jump right in. We have Christy from Assurity that's joining us. She's also a personal friend of mine, so sit back, relax, take notes, and then we'll see you in about 30 minutes. Christy, you there?
I am here. Thank you so much, Bill.
Yep, thank you.
I really hope some of the information Bill talked about earlier with, life happens. I think that's how you can kind of summarize his story, and the products we're going to talk about today all have a fit with that life happens phrase. So we'll jump right in. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about some of those objections, though, because I think that's one thing that all of us who go out and sell insurance that we deal with. We could have the best product, even with the best rates out there, and the best opportunity with the client, but we all know that happens. They will tell us they're interested, but then they're not interested. Or you start making the sale, they never return a phone call. So what I'm hoping today is we're going to hit on some of those things for you and help you to have some ideas of how to overcome those and be able to get that sale. First, for those that are not familiar with Assurity, we are a smaller mutual company based out of Lincoln, Nebraska. I always like to share a picture of our beautiful building that we all work in here, except for a few of us. And one thing I'd like to point out about that, being a smaller company, you as an agent, you may have not heard of a surety. I like to point this out just because we have been around for 131 years, but being that smaller company, we're not doing some of those big national campaigns like other companies do. However, we're very focused on our community. We're very focused on the environment and very focused on working with our agents to do what we can best. So we're a very consumer friendly place. And one thing, and this is even surprising to me as a millennial myself, is one thing some of your clients are going to be very interested in when it comes to companies are some of those logos you see on the bottom right of your screen. So we are a LEED Gold company, and we are a certified B Corporation. Again, things I never thought really would make that big of a difference, but when you have clients who are very aware, that becomes a selling feature for them. So if you're not familiar with either one of those if you go on our website, just assurity.com, there's some more information out there on both of those initiatives and what Assurity does partaking in that. So today's agenda, kind of as Bill went over, we're going to hit on a few different products for you. Now, I'm not going to go into all of the details because I'm really hoping you'll have some questions and you'll reach out to Andrew, Bill, or another member of their team to get some more insight and information, help with some quotes. Would love to have them help you do that. But to get started with, I want you to think about today the clients that are in your current portfolio, or maybe clients that you have scheduled appointments to go and see here over the next couple weeks. And as we're going through the products today, I want you to write down, John Doe would be a good candidate for this product, because one thing I think we all forget working in this business is we always want to look for new clients, and that's a good thing, but sometimes we have opportunities to go back and sell additional products to different clients. And so want to make sure you're keeping that door open, because we all know the more products a client has with you, the more likely that's going to stay with you for the longevity. So keep that in mind. And like I said, use that piece of paper and pen and write down some names. So to start with, we are going to talk about our Century Plus disability plan. Now, there's some great features about this plan I will get onto, but what I really wanted to hit on with you guys are the objections that we hear from agents, as well as for Doug and myself when we're out actually selling personally. So these are the things that you hear most commonly. Now, I know it's kind of crazy to think about, that, we all know we have some opportunities with savings, but do we? How many people that maybe said that to you, that they would use their savings for things back in 2019, maybe couldn't say that now because of 2020? Relying on Social Security disability. A lot of people don't understand how those programs work. So one thing you can do as an agent is try to educate them on, well, how does that product actually work? Accidents, illnesses won't happen to me. That's the number one thing I think all agents hear. And just, listening to Bill's story earlier, I'm pretty sure that wasn't something that was planned to go on that day. So those things happen, right? Life happens. Insurance through workplace. It's a great thing that a lot of companies do offer benefits for their employees, and we will never tell you any different than that. But the big problem is a lot of consumers don't understand half the benefits that they have access to. You may have someone who actually goes on disability and doesn't realize they have that plan that was paid for by the company they work for. They struggle personally because of that. So one thing you'll be able to do is just asking some of those questions. Do they have insurance? Let's find out some details and help them out. In the end, what can happen with that is you may help them understand benefits. You then become a trusted advisor. So they will refer people to you and also come back to you for other things. One of the biggest ones, though, I hear personally when I go out and sell is that it's too expensive. And when you talk about products like disability, that is probably one of the biggest objections that agents get. And that's often because of how the consumer portrays the insurance and then how the agents actually deliver, that presentation. So we're going to talk about that. So just to start with, this is kind of like the pyramid that is used in the insurance industry, for how someone's personal portfolio should be set up. We have assets and things in the top. We have our retirement and savings. And then we have those everyday things with insurance on our cars, insurance on our houses, life insurance, health insurance. We have all those. And the thing that ties it all together is your ability to earn an income. What I have seen personally, when it comes to making sales, I think it's better to use this as a pyramid for your clients. We need to have things that is more relatable to their lifestyle. If the family you're working with, they have 3 kids, let's talk about, are those kids in sports? Let's talk about what type of vacations they like to go on. Let's talk about what they're doing to start working up for college. Your guys' stage program will fit in perfectly there as well. But those things are more relatable to the consumer, and they're more willing to listen to you a little bit more. Now, when it comes to millennials, I'm going to give you guys all one huge idea to use with clients. We think about these 3 pictures you see here on the screen. And let's think about, when something breaks, do you fix it or do you buy new? Well, it really depends, right? But if you went out and bought a new TV in 2020, which TV sales were at an all-time high in 2020, chances are you paid for that product protection plan. And why did you do that? And why do consumers do that? Why do they spend that $10, $15, $20 on their $700 TV? Well, the reason is, if something happens to it, they want it replaced, right? Maybe that's the only TV in their household. If they have young kids, they probably want it for those cartoons. Next, I think about for all of us, everyone who has a cell phone or some type of smart device, chances are you're paying each month with your cell bill a little bit of insurance. And how do you think about why you're paying for that insurance? If you're like me, you're paying for it because if your phone breaks, you want to make sure you get it fixed, right? A lot of people, they pay for it. They're also paying for their phone on a monthly basis, and they can't really afford, if their phone breaks and they don't have the insurance, they can't afford to buy another one. So if we know consumers are struggling with replacing a TV, a $700, $800 value, or replacing a cell phone, a $1,200, $1,500 value, like, why are we not trying to put some type of insurance on the paycheck that actually pays for everything? So when I talk to clients that are in that Gen X or millennials, I found the biggest way to relate to them is by talking about their cell phone. It's one they will relate to, they will listen to your story, and they will see the need. So just something to keep in mind. So hopefully all of you have written down a couple people in those age groups that you could reach out to about disability insurance. So as I mentioned earlier, one of the biggest things that comes up is that someone has insurance through their workplace. Now, I personally have ran into this client more times than I would admit. And the first 3 times I did it, that was the end of the sale, right? We're done. Okay, they have insurance already. Well, once I started asking some more questions about their insurance, I was able to actually find some new ways to make some additional sales. So here are some questions on the screen that you can ask those clients to find out a little bit more. Once again, we're trying to become that trusted advisor for them, and we're helping them understand their benefits. Now, through that, once again, you may not get another sale. That client may have the perfect amount of insurance for what they need. But then again, you will be known as an advisor to that person now because you did all that for them at no charge. But in 9 out of 10 cases, they do have some gaps, and you're going to be able to help them fit those gaps with a product. Now, The one big thing to think about too, when someone says they have disability insurance through work, do they have a short-term plan or do they have a long-term plan? Other thing that the big question for me is, do they pay for the insurance or does the employer? Because that affects the taxation of benefits. But we often see companies either do 2 smaller plans or they'll do just a long-term plan so that customer, they have gaps. So just to show you an example of what this looks like, here is a case study with a dental hygienist that this actually was a case that came into the building where the client had some existing benefits for their workplace. But we can see based on those 2 bars in the bottom, we can see that there's a gap on the amount of coverage. That group plan paid 60%, but the benefit is taxable, so that benefit amount does drop. Now, even though it might not seem like a big sale for you, we can throw in a small DI policy for $800. It's going to cost this particular client a little under $30 a month. And it's actually going to offer some benefits that go a little bit longer than that 2-year plan she gets through the employer. So we're increasing her and getting her back up to what would be about that 66% of her salary. Now, this particular product, our Century Plus, I'm going to give you just a basic overview of what the product is and some of the features. We'll cover our clients up to age 60. We will write occupation classes. You can see there it's in 4 different categories. I want you to think of that 4A is you as an insurance agent. We can do our job on our feet, but we also can do it sitting in a chair. The 3A's are going to be ones that are probably more 75% chair, 25% on the feet. 2A's, we're looking at a good 50-50 mix of sitting and standing. 1A's, we're looking at 25% of the time they're maybe able to sit down. So 4A's, insurance agents. 3A's, let's think about a nurse in a hospital. 2A's, let's think about that plumber who came to your house last week. And 1A's, let's think about the person who replaced the roof on your neighbor's house. Benefit amounts, we can go up to $20,000. It is based on what their income levels are and the occupation classes, as you can see there. Benefit periods and the elimination periods. You can see there we offer quite a different, good selection of options. One thing to know about the elimination periods is if you have a client who wants a 30-day, that is going to cost twice as much as if they wanted to go with like a 90-day. So the more we can help them utilize the things that they say they have, their savings or other things, we really want to try to do that to extend that period because of cost for that client. Benefit periods works the same way. A 2-year benefit period or a 5-year, those are probably our most 2 commonly sold plans. We see a lot of age 65 or 67 for more of our 3A and 4A occupation classes. Lastly, with this one, I will like to mention non-medical underwriting for clients up to age 50, up to $4,000. We do have an e-application system available right now until we have things set up on the Levinson platform that you can write through and potentially get your client an instant decision. So next thing I want to hit on for disability is that everyone wants a Cadillac, right? If we are looking into buying something new for ourselves, or a member of our family, we want to get them the best option that's out there. Well, we see that even happen more nowadays when we have this tech-savvy generation. We're out Googling on things, we're looking up rates. So by the time we're making phone calls or filling out a form online, we already know what we want. We have seen all of the benefits that are available, and we want the Cadillac, right? We want the plan that is going to pay us the longest with the shortest wait time and having every single rider possible. Well, we know when we work with a consumer that Cadillac is the perfect world scenario. However, most of the time, if you show that client just that Cadillac as an option, you're going to lose a sale right there. And that's just because of the cost. So what we have available with our plan, there's some benefits that are built in that I want to give you a quick rough overview of that actually help the client achieve the same thing, but then we're able to do it by saving them, say, 25 to 40% of the cost. First thing I like to point out is some of the built-in benefits that are available. One thing is our plan is built in with a 2-year own occupation definition. And what that means is that the client becomes disabled, whatever occupation they are working in when their disability begins. If they are not able to do that particular occupation, the benefits will pay. So I want you to think about an ER nurse. One of the things they have to do on their job is the ability to transfer patients. Well, if you have an ER nurse that has been in a car accident, for example, and can no longer take that weight lift, they're not able to do their own occupation. They would receive a benefit from us. A couple other things I like to point out, because I think sometimes things that aren't featured actually are probably some of the best benefits. We do have a benefit on the plan that's built in at no additional cost for organ donor benefits. So if someone becomes disabled as a result of donating, a kidney, for instance, this plan can come back and pay them if they become disabled. Other one I'd like to talk about is our home modification benefit. This gives a benefit equal to 6 times their base amount to make modifications to a house. So if you have a client who, let's say, is in that serious car accident and maybe they lived in an older home that doesn't have wide doorways, this home modification benefit can help pay to have someone come in your client's house to widen the doors. So these are just built-in benefits, no extra cost, but it's giving some of those Cadillac features that your client really wants. Last, I will mention, we have 10 different writers where you really can go and customize that coverage. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the shorter that wait period, the longer the benefit period. What happens is that cost does balloon, but with some of these writer options, we really can minimize that shock for your client. First, the supplemental disability writer that offers a shared risk benefits. So if you were to look apples to apples, $1,000 of our base benefit, $1,000 of that rider for your client, that base benefit, we'll say it was $50. That rider benefit with that same $1,000 is going to be about $26 for your client. So looking at shared risk means we're able to save some dollars. Next, that retroactive writer, that's one of my favorite writers. I include this on every quote that I run. What this does, if the client becomes disabled due to an accident, once they meet their elimination period, we'll go back and reimburse the months with the base benefit. So if your client has $1,000 benefit, 3 months after they receive their first benefit payment for us, we will send them a second benefit for $3,000. Last writer I want to point out on here, just so we can keep this going, is our catastrophic. I think about someone who has a disability, and that 2 or 5 year benefit, it's usually going to be enough time if they have something permanent, to get on permanent benefits with Social Security disability. But what this writer does is it gives us that opportunity to extend to age 65 or age 67 benefit period with, about 10% of the cost if we were to do that to age 65 benefit period. So it's only for catastrophic disabilities, which means the client can't do at least 2 of their ADLs. But my personal opinion, it is so worth it. So make sure if you have a client that fits in this, ask your rep at Levinson what they can do to help you to really customize that for your client. Now, just a couple examples of what this looks like. I wanted to show you. If we're doing a benefit, this is a 42-year-old landscaper. So we're looking at a 2A occupation. We did that catastrophic writer to age 65, that retroactive, especially since they're on their feet. We want to cover both sides. So we're able to offer $3,800 to the client. It's $121 a month. We also did add $10,000 of a critical illness rider for them as well. Now, another option, if we're trying to, let's keep it a little cheaper here. Let's look at this ER nurse. We're able to offer $3,430. And this one, we're doing a guaranteed insurability rider, which gives this person the opportunity to purchase more benefits as their salary increases without going through underwriting. Again, adding in that retroactive, but here I also added in that return of premium rider. We want to give the client some of that money back because they don't think it'll ever happen to them. Here's a great way to do it. We're going to include that rider. So $71.69. Pretty reasonable. Next, I'm going to hit briefly on our critical illness plan. Kind of the same thing. We see a lot of objections, and we see a lot of the same objections. Probably the one that I've heard the most here, even in the last like 4 to 6 weeks, I've had a few appointments myself. And the thing I've heard the most is someone will create a GoFundMe for my family. I want you to think about that. If a critical illness were to happen to you, how much more burden does that put on your plate while you're trying to recover? If you know all of your friends and family, and also 1,000 other people in the community know what's going on with you and are contributing dollars. We're very thankful for that, obviously, but that puts an extra burden while you're trying to recover. It's a great thing to have, but if we can give you something that keeps you from having to do that, it's definitely worth it. So critical illness. Now, some of you may have been familiar with our product. We did change this here a couple years ago, and I tell you, not because I work at a surety, this truly is the best critical illness plan out there right now. Now, some of the reasons for it, we'll hit on some of those riders here, but the main thing I want you to think about is right there at the top. We can do the simplified underwriting with instant decision on the e-application up to $75,000. So that's going to cover a lot of your clients and their needs. Fully underwritten amounts, we will go up to $500,000. Typically, where I see that $500,000 written is on people who work in the medical community. They work with those illnesses every day. They're more willing to put a little extra money to get a bigger benefit. The base plan comes with 11 conditions, and I'll show you what those look like here shortly. We do have an option to purchase some additional. But probably my favorite thing about this plan is that last bullet point on the screen. We have a return of premium benefit upon death if the client dies from something other than a critical illness. So if your client just lives to be 110 years old and passes away of natural causes, they have built-in return of premium where we will give all premiums back to a beneficiary. So no cost, it's built in. Great feature to have. That's kind of what I think really makes this probably the best living benefits plan out there. So here are the 11 conditions that are covered with the plan. We also do have quite a few riders available, and I'm going to highlight just a few of these for you today. First one is additional critical illness rider. This gives us the opportunity to add 6 additional conditions to the policy. Next is our critical accident rider. We really see this rider fit, especially if you are working with them or you have conversations about health insurance with a consumer. This is a rider that most of them are very open to having, and the average cost of this is $8.88 on every policy I've seen. What this one does is if the client's in an accident and ends up in the hospital. Now, it could be a car accident. It could be, they're out laying on that beach and something happens and they cut their foot open. Whatever that case is, if they're in the hospital for 2 days, no surgery, or 1 day with surgery, benefits will start at $2,000. Up to 14 days, it'll pay a $25,000 benefit. So kind of fits in long. I think about critical illness and, looking at it from like a health insurance perspective, there's 2 reasons someone's going to hit their deductible. They either have a serious illness or they have the Brady Bunch syndrome, as I like to call it, where there's accidents. And this rider will help cover a lot of those accidents. Next is our increasing benefit rider. This gives the client the opportunity to have the policy value increase 5% every year for 10 years. So if you have a client and they purchase a $50,000 policy, every year, automatically, there's nothing that you or the client have to do, it will increase by 5%. So at the end of 10 years, that $50,000 policy now will be valued at $75,000. No change to premium, so nothing else changes with it, just that value just increases naturally. And my favorite writer of all time is a reoccurrence writer. Now, we all know someone, like Bill said. I think about a good friend of mine who actually used to work at a surety. She was diagnosed with breast cancer back in like 2004. This last year, 2020, with all the other craziness going on, she went in for her yearly appointments and had a reoccurrence. Now, she's had some pretty crazy treatments and things go on. I couldn't tell you how much I would have loved if her policy had this rider. So out of the conditions, we have 11 base. We have 6 more we can add. If your client wins the worst case scenario lottery, they can claim on all 17 of those conditions twice. So it's not a one and done plan. It is there for living benefits. And we know that just because one thing happens, it doesn't stop something else. Now, what does the pricing of this look like? Sometimes when I work with clients, I try to start small. So this is just $10,000 for a 40-year-old. If we do just that base plan, so just those 11 conditions, it's $12.25. To add those other 6, that would take us right above $13. Now, I did include a few of those riders just so you can see what that premium would look like. Now, if we were to take it a little bigger scale, 25,000, obviously we'll see that go up, but still, if we did just that base policy and those additional conditions, it's going to be a little under $30. So very reasonable for all of the potential benefits that the client could have. So the last thing I want to kind of talk about really quick on our term insurance is the customer who wants the insurance, but they actually wanted it yesterday before they called you. So we are looking at, how can we get on this insurance? How can we sell it and get a policy in their hands quickly? And our term plan can do that for you. One big thing about a surety, as Bill mentioned, our term product does have some great features that stand out from other carriers. As you can see on the screen here, we'll offer benefits up to $10 million. Traditionally, though, what we see for clients under age 50, we usually see a lot of them at that $500,000 range because that is an area that can get approved with instant decision using our e-app platform. Or for clients who are a little bit older than that, we can go up to $350,000 for clients up to age 65. Now, the great news for you is if you have a client who only wants $25,000 of coverage and they are in pristine health, we can write $25,000 at preferred or preferred plus ratings without needing any type of medical. So they still can get that instant decision at any of those amounts I just talked about with this plan. Still no medicals needed. One thing I want to point out about the plan that does make a surety a little different from some companies that you may currently work with, we do offer conversion opportunities on our policy. So if your client, has a change in health, the great news is for the 10-year plan up to year 9, for the 15, 20, or 30, up to 2 years before the term expires, the client has eligibility for conversion. Last thing with that is expires also on the anniversary when they turn age 65. So great feature where you can turn that term plan into something permanent. But the big feature of the plan really does come from the living benefit riders. So these are all included, additional cost riders on the term plan. We do see a lot of agents include all 3 of these where they're all available, depending on the state you write in, and really use this as one comprehensive plan for the consumer. We'll add that critical illness rider, we'll add a disability rider, and then that return of premium benefit. Now, One thing I will point out on the return of premium, it does cover the base policy and the writer cost. So when it comes to any extras, if your client is table rated up, or any other flat extras, those are not included. It's just the base policy and the cost of the writer. But still, great way to get some insurance to cover them and give that client the opportunity to get those premiums back in the end. So just a quick example of what this looks like. I'm going to kind of move quick through this. It's just kind of a sales scenario. We can see here the end solution, if they do $250,000 for a 30-year preferred plus, we're running a little under 17 bucks. If we add on that ROP writer, that's going to take us just a little bit above 20 bucks. So still keep that premium very reasonable for the clients. You know, anything we can do there to help you guys get that sale, it's not as bad or as expensive as people think that it has to be. So so before we end, I do want to give you guys a quick preview of a new product that we have coming out that you guys will have access to, and hopefully this product will be rolling out here, we'll say in the next 30 to 60 days. Some of you may be familiar with our current plan called our Axiflex Insurance. That's an accidental only death plan with an accident disability rider. So we are redoing that plan and replacing it with our Accidental Death Insurance Plus. Just going to point out a few features for those who aren't familiar with it. Benefits are available up to $350,000. The issue age is going to be increased on this product. With the current product, we could only take that, issue it up to age 60, and we actually will issue up to age 70 now. Term periods. One thing we found, and if any of you guys have relationships with P&C offices, this is going to be a great product for you to talk about with them. You can choose from a 5-year, a 7-year, 10-year, 15, 20, or 30-year, or, you know, for the life of, just as the standard, you can choose from any of those options. So having a little more flexibility, we think, will open up that client pool for you a little bit. We also do offer benefits for dependents and a spouse on the policy too. A couple of features that we have, a common carrier benefit, and that's going to include things like ride shares like Lyft, that you'll be able to have that benefit cover as well. A seatbelt benefit will be on there. We are going to have a separate category on the plan for dismemberment. And then we're going to take some of the riders and pop them up a little bit. So that DI benefit used to be a max of $1,800, will now go up to $3,000 with it. And that critical accident rider I talked about on the critical illness plan, that's going to be available here as well.
Okay.
So last thing I will mention, I really hope we can see all of you this next year down at the Levinson meeting. We're very excited for the expo. We always have a lot of fun there. Would obviously love to have you come on our trip too as well. So if that is something that works out, we'd love to have you in Prague.
What's the premium for agents for Prague, Christy?
So it depends on their contract levels and when they were contracted. So I would, I can send the brochure out to you, Bill, and then if you have agents interested, you can kind of address those all on an individual basis.
Okay. Yep. We'll send that out. Okay. Great. Okay. That was awesome. I know we're a little late, but I think it was worth it, Christy. That was a great job. I know we had a lot to cover in a short time, so we appreciate it. What we're going to do is we're going to send out a thank you email to everybody that's on the call. We'll include the brochures. We're going to answer everyone's questions that came in during the last hour, so we'll make sure of that. We have just a couple slides, and then we'll do our question of the day. We're going to be about 3 to 4 minutes late. We're just about done, and I apologize. Okay, so real quick to get started, obviously just go to our website, and it literally says how to get started contracting. Boom, you're in, and we'll include the link in today's thank you email. The scholarship program comes with all products. So make sure that you are active, and we'll set you up for free. And we even have that magnetic pin that we have agents literally walk around supermarkets, kids, basketball, soccer games, whatever. It opens doors. That's me wearing it in the bottom right-hand corner. But this platform is so easy now. There's really no reason to not market this. And again, it's just an extra, value add that your competitors can't give these prospects. Okay, very important. Okay, this is just a list of some bullets to market the scholarship program. There's so many options here. We're going to include a video in today's thank you email that will give you the whole tutorial and everything you need to know. That little gift certificate on the right side, we have agents give those out free to any prospect that talks about scholarship, and you put their name. It's a $500 gift card or scholarship credits, $500 towards that school, even if they don't buy a product. So it's a great giveaway for seminars and webinars. Okay, this is just a quick sales concept. Now, I think everyone can get their arms around this just real fast. Think about this for a second. You're talking to a younger family, right? They have young children. And you can, obviously the parents are worried, right? If they pass on, they want to make sure their kid's going to be okay and go to college. So this is great because it's free life insurance, okay? And this is $250,000 you're going to put on the breadwinner, okay? He or she can be the insured. If they pass, $250,000 cash goes to the spouse to take care of the children, okay? And if they make it, which God willing they will, at the end of 20 years, think about this. You're giving them free life insurance. At the end of 20 years, they're getting back a check for $18,000, all of their money, guaranteed, plus $43,000 in scholarship points, okay? Each point is $1. That's a total value of $61,000 to be used for a 4-year tuition, plus they just had a free life insurance policy along the way in case something happened, okay? If you can't market that, come on, okay, please. And look how inexpensive, $74 a month, $74.99. So these are the concepts that you need to get out there and be scrappy, creative. Okay, the podcast by now, everybody knows about this. It's on YouTube, your favorite podcast channel. Go to our website, whatever works for you, leave a comment. I want to hear from you. I send you one of the free Mary Reed prospecting books. This is a NFL star, NBA star, and the Kansas City Royals home run record holder, Jorge Soler. These are 3 hours of interviews that are very inspiring. I think you're going to love this. Plus, we have other episodes with top MDRT agents across the country, and I pick their brain for an hour just to see what's working for them. Okay, great chance for you all to learn and innovate, okay, and stay inspired, right, and motivated. That's the name of the game here. Okay, second to last slide, these are trainings that are coming up. We have a huge one. Write down this date, August 5th. The infamous Joe Ross. He is the best life insurance sales coach, bar none. He's going to jump in for an hour to talk all about life insurance selling in 2021. You do not want to miss that webinar, I promise you. Okay, on the bottom, top DI income life insurance solutions. This is another big one, okay, for especially living benefits on the 11th. And then, of course, our agency automator trainings every day of the week at 2 p.m. Kevin, our programmer, hosts these. Last slide. In our question of the day, but real quick, that's me as a little kid sitting on my car bed, and the quote, should someone ever tell you your dreams can never become reality, have undoubtedly given up on their own. The point is, keep your foot on the gas. Anything is possible. Elon Musk just went to the moon, okay? So come on, went to space. So anything's possible, and it's up to you to set your own limit or no limit, right? And be scrappy. Okay, go make it happen. You got plenty of new ideas and products now to go out and market, sell product, and figure out your why. Question of the day, whoever has their little fingers on the keyboard and they're first to answer and correct wins. Okay, it's a two-part question. You tell me, how many carriers do we have on InsureMeNowDirect? Okay, and the minimum premium to qualify for the expo. Okay, two-part question. How many carriers are on InsureMeNowDirect? And what, did I make a little mistake here? Yes, I did. Okay, let's look at the question top right corner. I was half right, my fault. Tell me the date of the 2022 Levinson Expo and the minimum premium required to qualify for one room at the expo? Two-part question. And I apologize for anyone that typed in the answer to the wrong question. My fault. So tell me the date of the expo and the minimum premium to qualify for a free room at the expo. Two-part question. Andrew, do we have a winner?
We do. We have Nick D. Nick D. from Massachusetts was the first to get it correct.
Nick from Mass, the answer, April 8th, 2022, and $20,000 a premium to qualify for a one-night stay at our beachfront resort for the Levinson Expo. Sorry about the time. I really apologize. I hope it was worth it. Let's have a great Thursday, right? And let's jump into August full speed ahead and go crush it, okay? We'll see you next week. Take care, and thanks again.